Nikola Jokic, number one overall on ESPN's top 100 players in the NBA. But y'all, we got to talk about some of the other Nuggets that are on this list. Some maybe towards the back end of the 100, apparently no longer the third best player on the roster per reports. Y'all, there's a lot to get into. Why are so many people so pessimistic? Am I the only one standing on business for the Denver Nuggets this year? Better not be. Talk about the Denver Nuggets playing versus the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. All that and more here on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. I'm with my brother, Ryan Blackburn, a.k.a. Ryan Chartburn, co-host of Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're enjoying watching NBA basketball. We are officially on the eve of the NBA season starting next week, y'all, and I cannot wait. I don't like watching preseason basketball that much. Everybody's tripping. Lineup data. How does this team look in the first 5 games? I don't care. Just get through it healthy. Let's get there, and let's get the rolling. Ryan Blackburn, how are you today?
It's weird how much that sounds like me, Swiper. That's pretty weird. Pretty weird that you made it sound like that, huh? How are you doing?
I'm having a great day, y'all. But guess what, y'all? Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, let's get straight into it. Ryan. So ESPN, as you know, they always put out their top 100. And last year, famously, Nikola Jokic was number 2 on ESPN's top 100 list after going for a 30, 13, and 10 triple-double throughout the entire playoffs on the way to an NBA Finals championship. Behind Giannis Antetokounmpo, who didn't win MVP and didn't play in the playoffs last year, at least past, the first round because they got smoked out by Jimmy Butler for 56 points in his grill. This has been an interesting list, I can say. This is probably the first time, Ryan, that I've looked at an ESPN list, and I'm just like, I really don't know how much basketball went into deciding how this list is put together. What are your overall thoughts on the ESPN top 100 list and Jokic number 1 overall placement?
Well, it's good that they got number 1, right? I know you could have made arguments, not last year. Last year they just screwed it up, but in previous seasons, that Jokic wasn't the best player in the world at the time, though I would have argued that in each of the last 4 seasons, he was the best player in the world. That is where they have screwed up for much of the time, but now they've gotten that right. And so that's the most important part of this. Other Nuggets on this list, Jamal Murray at 31, Aaron Gordon at 49, and Michael Porter at 89. I think that right now Murray at 31, it might be a little low, but it's not that low in terms of like regular season production, what you're expecting on an 82 game season, things like that. Aaron Gordon, I think same thing. 49, I think is a fair place for him. The Michael Porter at 89 was the one that I was wowed by. KCP clocked in at 62 after being unrated before that. That seems whack. Dante DiVincenzo is 75, Alex Caruso is 59, and Derek Lively is 56. So just naming guys that I would have Michael Porter well over. And by the way, Klay Thompson, 71, despite the fact that he was 0-10, 0 for 10 in a play-in game, in a play-in environment, got a $17 million
was the
contract.
Second option for a team that didn't do anything in the play-in last year either. So
yeah, so like I don't know how that can be justified. It is literally just name value. I don't know how Michael Porter fell that far. That is a clear oversight.
Yeah, but again, this is going to get into the second segment too, but there's just this overarching pessimism around everybody on the Denver Nuggets roster, not named Joker. Oh, that includes Malone, by the way, who is nowhere to be found on any Coach of the Year preseason ballots at all.
He's like at max 11th.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what? I don't know what this. I feel like I know what it is, Ryan. But even just looking at the ESPN list, I'm just like, so they basically went from the dominant team, everybody picked to be a favorite.
Yeah.
to now you only have one player in the top 30. Their coaches in the top 8 coaches in the league. Jamal Murray is, who knows what he's going to be, if he's even going to play and arrive this season. Maybe he doesn't need to score 20 points at some point this year. Michael Porter all of a sudden is like a lesser tier role player in the league.
That's Aaron Gordon right there.
Right. Aaron Gordon is, whatever. He's just, not a nice guy, but can't score, can't finish, can't play make. And it's just the whole team. Peyton Watson's nobody, Christian Brown's nobody, Julian Strawther's nobody, Russell Westbrook is going to doom and ruin the team. Everything I'm hearing about the Nuggets right now from this list is just no one cares, and they're not good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of basing things on Joker is the only good thing about the organization. They lost the 62nd best player in the NBA in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who averaged like 10 points per game in the playoffs and shot 30% from three. It was bad. It was just flat out bad, and I think that's an unfortunate reality for where the Nuggets are. They kind of did this to themselves by losing in Game 7 the manner that they did. They was opening themselves up to all these pot shots that are being taken, and you can see where you lose a starter and replace him internally, and most teams and most fans and most analysts are going to think, yeah, you got worse. Whether they actually did or not, I don't know. I think that in the regular season, they might be just fine. There are some questions I have in the playoffs, for sure. But in terms of the regular season, Christian Brown's going to be fine filling in for KCP. And they're going to be fine because they have a core 4 that is really freaking good and is clearly underrated in this list in particular. So I understand it. I've been a little bit negative. I've been a little bit maybe too negative, but this goes a little far.
I guess I'm just trying to understand, the Nuggets having the best starting 5 in basketball last year. But I think, did the Celtics have 5 players in the top 50?
Oh, yeah.
Something around there. Drew, Derek, KP, JB, and JT. And which speaks to their collective greatness, which is why they are where they are. But I just think it's interesting, man, that like the Nuggets are just in a situation where no one truly values anything else on the roster other than Joker. And I just think that's just not a fair view of the team at all. We'll talk about that obviously more, but look at the ESPN list, man. Is there any other name that's like in the top 10 that you look at that's like, I really don't get how they're so low or how they're that high?
Well, we talked about this, and Nuggets fans aren't going to like it. I actually talked about it on my show earlier today. Joel Embiid ranking 8th? Like he's been in like a top, when he's been healthy, he's been top 2 in the MVP in the last like 3 years before this last one when he didn't qualify. And before he was like challenging Joker for like the best numbers and the best like impact in the entire NBA. And
right. I
understand that, yeah, playoffs matter and the way that they have not performed has mattered, but I thought he was pretty good overall in the playoffs this last year. And that's a weird ranking for somebody like him where it just feels like they are pushing other folks ahead of him for really no reason at all.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man, but Jokic, Giannis, Luka, and Embiid and SGA from here are the clear like 5 best players in the sport.
Yeah. It's a clear tier.
Right. And I think this is funny to me that like this thing, and I if you ask me, I'll probably still like LeBron in a playoff setting, so I think LeBron has pockets he can be better in, Steph and others like we saw it in the Olympics, but it's just weird to me that like Embiid is so widely regarded as like the possible best player in the NBA on a per minute basis, but he's getting slotted at the spot where, it's just assumed like people are better than him. And I think even Tatum, I think is ahead of him just purely because of health. Because if you just ask me like player for player, I mean, that's not even like that much of a conversation for me, at least in a regular season.
I want to bring this up really quick. This other comment. I love Jaime Jaquez Jr., man. He was a rookie last year for Miami. Like there's just a lot of decisions that were made on this list that are clearly like they're major fallacies, major fallacies being made in terms of hyping different players up, putting different players in positions to win. I think Jaime will be great, but he also wasn't super playable in the playoffs last year. MPJ helped win Denver a playoff series against the Lakers. You would think that would matter for something.
23 and 7 on like 69 true shooting in that series.
He was unbelievable. He was great.
Yeah, he made 50% of his threes, but apparently worse than Jaime Jaquez Jr., Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Klay Thompson.
Brandon Pajimski, by the way.
Brandon Pajimski was 75, I think.
Yeah, good for him.
Man, the Warriors had a lot of good players, surely.
It's weird. Yeah, they had the 71st ranked player last year in Klay. They had 75th in Pods, like the 6th best player in Curry. They should be like clearly
in
a
the
play-in
playoffs.
team.
Yeah, I mean, they surely would have at least gone and fought for a series. On the other side, we're really going to focus our efforts and our energy on Ryan Blackburn because I listened to Locked On Nuggets the other day, and I'm not going to lie, I was having a great day, and then all of a sudden I turned that pod on. I was like, doom and gloom and gray cloud skies. But we'll talk about that on the other side here at Locked On Nuggets. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get the hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, you live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. We'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. We are back here with Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day with my co-host, Ryan Blackburn. Y'all, if you're listening to this on the audio side on Apple iTunes, please give us a 5-star review. That way more and more people can listen to the great content being made here at Locked On Nuggets. If we're on the YouTube side, give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscription. That way we can get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of next season, y'all. And we're talking about ESPN's top 100 list, the disrespect of Michael Porter Jr., the honor, malarkey of Michael Porter Jr. being the 89th overall. And we're talking now about, I don't know if y'all have seen Inside Out, okay? Inside Out is one of my favorite children's movies that have come out. And if you have seen Inside Out 1 and 2, there was an introduction of a new character this year in Anxiety, but then we have a character that rolled over from the first season, and her name was Sadness. And every time she would talk like this. And every time Happy, Joy would be like, hey, would you like to do this thing? Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not very good at it. This was Ryan Blackburn, right? And then the other one was the new introduction to Inside Out 2, which was Anxiety, which is like, hey, I don't know, y'all. I don't know if they're going to have what they need. I don't know. Christian Brown hadn't made a three-pointer. Peyton Watson, no offensive game. I don't know. And then those two were on the show without me. And it sounded like doom and gloom. Ryan Blackburn, bro.
This is a violation.
Please step away from the salt. Oh my brother. Why are you so down and pessimistic about this team?
You want to know why? It's probably because I listen to Michael Malone a lot. And Michael Malone has been down. Like, he has been very frustrated about just the level that this team is collectively reaching, the frustration that he's sort of showing about that he's asking for simple things. Don't turn the ball over, get back in transition, make a play for others. And it's just not really happening right now for the Nuggets in preseason. I will make sure to say that. And I have to continue to say that to myself as much as to the audience, because when I watch this team, I think about a group that I'm really thinking about the Wolves series last year and some of the issues that they were facing, some of the problems that they ran into where they became a little bit one-dimensional. Jamal wasn't at his best. Mike was getting locked up. Aaron, because he couldn't really space consistently, like they were being able to run two bigs against Joker, and then it was Joker versus the world pretty much for that entire series. So that's a tough place for anybody to be. But it's not going to be like that for 82 games of the regular season. How many teams can actually recreate what the Wolves were doing? It's going to be way better. And there's going to be some improvements that are made. So I had to check myself a little bit. I did a show on Pickaxe this morning and did 10 reasons to be excited if you're a Nuggets fan, trying to turn the page, trying to be better, paying my penance, doing what I needed to do. Because you're right. I was absolutely sadness on that particular show.
Yeah, and I get it. One of the hard parts about you being in your position, and obviously I live in Atlanta, so I only come around for home games, every couple of weeks basically during the regular season. There's just I think there's something you gain, like a lot of really value insight when you're really close to the team. But sometimes when you're that close, I think you like catch on the spirit around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're feeling Malone and the players and all that. But I'm over here looking at the other end. I'm like, okay, well, the Wolves just got Julius Randle. I'm not a Julius Randle believer at all. I've seen him in the preseason. I just saw Anthony Edwards go 6 of 23 versus the Bulls. I saw how clogged that paint is. Karl Anthony Towns won them game 7. He's the one that turned the tide in the third quarter.
That's true.
And I'm watching the Thunder, and I'm watching the Thunder play against a team with no Jamal and Joker. I'm like, well, those aren't world beaters. They're a very good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm watching the Denver Nuggets play versus the Boston Celtics when they had everybody's full rotation was in that first half, minus Peyton Watson. And the Nuggets were up 63-56. Similar outcomes to how the last two games have gone versus the Celtics. And basically from all that, it was just more so the Nuggets are a lot closer to the top of the league than to the middle. And I think there's been a lot of talk about the Nuggets fading into the middle. And I think watching KCP get rated as the 62nd best player in the league after not having a ranking last year, and then watching him soar by Michael Porter Jr., I think for that, it just makes me realize that I think people are just being so wildly, I think, flummoxed by the Wolves series. But I think Jason Temp kind of talked about this a little bit on Hoops Tonight. Look, at the end of the day, like it took like several different factors. Jamal Murray being a little labored, having injuries, nobody making a jump shot outside of Joker and Jamal the whole game. It took them being up 20 at home in a game 7 where they just collapsed and lost. It's the biggest game 7 collapse at home ever from a halftime lead, at least. Like there are so many things that went wrong down the stretch of that series. Jamal going 5 of 15, I think, in game 2, where if Jamal's healthy, Ryan, I just truly think that the Nuggets are going to have a 1-2 punch nobody can touch still in the NBA. And I think some of this too, Ryan, is like, I think as soon as people see like a good 3 weeks from Jamal or a 35-point game from Jamal, I think it comes back. But I think that's kind of what it is, right? I think everybody's just kind of waiting on Jamal to pop.
I mean, how could you not be worried about Jamal at this point? And I think it would be nice to go out there and see him play well. It's been a while since we've seen him like kind of show up and dominate a game or really put his foot down in a situation and say, no, I'm not going to let X great defender stop me or slow me down or bother me with the physicality or the athleticism or whatnot. And being able to see that, they play the Wolves tonight. We'll preview that in a little bit, but that's just one thing that I'm looking for is I want to see Jamal play. I want to see him get shots. I want to see him generate good looks for himself and others by being aggressive, getting downhill, showcasing his game a little bit, because so much of the Nuggets kind of vibe and view is built on Jamal being like the 30th best player in the NBA or higher. And if he's not that, they don't really have that many other directions that they can go. Yeah, Mike can step up and he could potentially take on a larger role. And Russell Westbrook is going to be there, especially in the regular season. But when the playoffs come around, you know how important Jamal is. So I think everybody is on eggshells with him and just trying to make sure that he's at his best. I hope that he's all good physically. And if he is all good physically, then I'll change my tune. But for now, I'm waiting to see it.
I think I'm more worried about maybe more basketball related things than I think Jamal's like. I'm not saying Jamal's injury status is in basketball, but more so just like X's and O's. The real thing that's got me not like loving things is I said to everybody, I think the defense will be fine this year, will be great still. But that offense with Christian Brown, bro, I am just like, man, I wasn't a believer a couple months ago when you heard me talk about this. Why I'm so desperately screaming, Ayo Dosunmu, and then now, Ryan, we haven't even talked since it happened. Lonzo Ball, great debut. 10 points, getting steals, hitting 3-pointers. great switchable defense, got a steal on Julius Randle, got a block. I'm like, oh, they got to trade one of these guys now. They got to trade one of them. And whichever one, the Denver Nuggets need to be in line, Ryan.
Who could they possibly be looking to trade?
Who could they be? I'll take this right now. I'll take Kobe White. They gonna trade him. I'll take Lonzo Ball. They might trade him. I'll take Ayo Dosunmu. Bulls fans, shout out Hayes from Locked On Bulls. He was like, "There's no way we're trading one of our 2 players we drafted and cultivated. Y'all got Patrick Williams cultivated. Y'all don't need Ayo. Ayo is gonna be a 5th. Fernando, do you understand my vision? I manifested a Jokic MVP. Ryan, remember going into last year, was it last year? I think I had to convince you Joker was going to win MVP coming into the year. I had to manifest an NBA championship for this team, even when people were like, oh, look at their defense. They're 28th in defense in December 2022. I told folk, y'all have to believe. Everybody, join hands with me. Ayo. But I think that's the biggest thing for me, Ryan. I don't love Christian Brown's fit with the starters, and I don't know what it's going to take for me to get there. But I said this last year, and I have no reason to change my mind at this point.
7% from 3 so far in the preseason. That's not good. It's obviously a very small sample size. 1 of 13 from 3 is like, that is something that KCP has done over the course of a 4-game stretch. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to be perfect immediately, but I'm also not expecting that to maintain.
Right. They're going under every screen for Christian. Every one of them. That's tough.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but I get what I'm saying. Like, it's just the flow. Like, KCP extending the defense out is as much about him hitting a shot as him being a threat to shoot the ball and hit that shot. You know what I mean? And Christian just doesn't have that.
Well, he better get it
Right.
because the Nuggets at this point, they're going to go with him. Like, they're going to start him, and he's probably going to get at least 20 games to really sort of figure things out. And I think over the course of that time, they'll understand some things, and he'll be able to fully appreciate the spots where he's getting the ball on the floor. But he's going to have to come up with something, man, because so far the offense has not been very good. It needs to be better for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with that opportunity. But right now I look at Denver's shooting guard rotation, and I see one-way players right now. I see Christian and Peyton as defensive options. I see Julian as the offensive option. And for that reason, they probably are going to have to split and like pick one or the other for different situations. But ideally, you'd like your starter to be versatile for both.
I'm a 36% from 3 start for Peyton Watson away from just starting him at the 2 and calling it a day, because he's a better defender than Christian anyway. But anyway, we're going to talk about this a little bit more on the other side, Ryan, but then we're going to get to the Wolves game in a preview, and maybe the starters play, maybe they don't. Ryan Blackburn, aka Ryan Charburn, might have some more information. We're going to talk about all that and more on the other side here at Locked On Nuggets. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Your sex life is important, but your schedule is busy. You don't have the time to go to a doctor's office to get treated for ED. Through Hims, you can get personalized ED treatment without stepping foot outside your door. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visit. Just answer a series of questions on their site, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you in discreet packaging for free. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. Hims, youtube.com/lockedon. We'll be right back for more here at Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for the final segment of Locked On Nuggets. Speaking of him, I'm with Ryan Blackburn, the man himself. So, Ryan, any last thoughts on kind of just the foray and the lack of shooting that the Nuggets have been able to show so far? And I guess what improvements do you see them being some marketed improvements that Christian Braun can make, maybe to make the offense just flow a little bit better over the next couple of weeks?
I don't know if it's going to be Christian. I think naturally his 3-point percentage is going to go up because he's going to be picking and choosing open threes. He's not going to be a contested three kind of guy. Jamal Murray will also get some threes up. He'll be more efficient than he's been so far. So I think that those two are the ones that I'd look at. Also, there's also a possibility Aaron Gordon's jumpers look pretty good. If that continues into the actual regular season, then maybe it's less of a problem, especially with the starters, than you give it credit for.
He shot 39 2 years ago, so
yeah, like it's at least in there. There's a possibility, and just he looks very comfortable, mostly from the mid range, but also from three. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Julian Strawther's going to play a lot, so that will help things. And then Dario Saric has not made a three yet this preseason. That's going to change in the regular season. That's one where I would expect to flip.
I think they took 43s the other night. Do you think the Nuggets are going to? Yeah, do you think the Nuggets are going to shoot around 37 to 41 this year?
I don't know. I'd probably drop it down to 35, 36. That's like I think that they get more up than they did previously, and Julian Strawther's going to help with that. He'll be chucking them up there, and I think Denver knows that they have to kind of balance out the thing that they've got going on, where they give up 51 threes a game. They're not going to give up that many going forward, but they might give up more than most in the NBA. So I'd at least watch about that.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, they're playing versus the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota. Minnesota just got, for the most part, they became a tight game versus the Bulls late, but when the third quarter was around, when the starters were in, they were getting blown out. Maybe some of that was the juice from Lonzo Ball coming back into the court for the Chicago Bulls, and then obviously the Denver Nuggets. It was actually pretty competitive in the first half, and then some of the third quarter, and then eventually the Nuggets just kind of took their foot off the gas, and it just kind of fell apart, lost by 30. Nuggets are 0-4 in the preseason. Ryan, any thoughts going into tonight's game? Do you think the starters are going to play? Do you think this is like a must-win for vibes for the Denver Nuggets?
It's bordering on it. Matt has done this data work that if you go winless in the preseason, then you're going to go under on your win total at least like 70% of the time. That's not good. Like, Denver has to show a little something. I don't think that they're like, do they need to win? Probably not. But do they need to look and play better, especially with their second unit? Absolutely. Like, the starters, I think, have been solid in the first half of pretty much every game that they've played. When they play into the second half is where things have been pretty ugly. And then it's mostly, I think everybody is just reminded that they're playing a preseason game and things don't necessarily matter as much. But coaches don't want to see that. They don't want to feel that. I want to see Denver shoot the ball well. That would be freaking fantastic. I would like to see Jamal Murray shoot the ball well. And I think he's going to play. All the starters are on the plane, so I think that they are suiting up to play, or at least there's a possibility that they will. And if they don't, then whoever stands in their place has to show up and has to start filling in the gaps, and that's going to be something that we monitor, because whenever Denver's top 9 is broken up a little bit, things have not been great. So,
excuse me, sir. I just want to correct you. They have 10 real guys now, actually.
Oh, yeah? Who's that 10th guy?
I'm putting my cards in. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. We're going to say it at the same time. All right? Ready? I'm putting my cards on this player. 3, 2, 1.
Trey Alexander.
No. I believe in the Zeke Najee ascension. I think he's going to be back. I think did Benny put an article out on him on the Denver Post today? Was that today?
I thought it was Bennett Durando. Yeah.
Yeah, Benny. Yeah. Bennett. Yeah. So it was. I think Zeke. I think he's shooting 55% from 3 in the preseason so far. His shot looks good. He's taking it immediately. He looks confident. But I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Do you know how much easier their life would be if they could run a lineup? Their bench unit was Russell Westbrook, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, Zeke Naji, and Dario Saric. That right there would make it way, way better.
And not just that, like I said this earlier on the other show, like I think that Denver needs to have more excuses to add to their rotation as opposed to take guys away. That's how you survive a regular season. That is how you get through it. If you can find ways, especially early on, where you don't have to play 8 guys, 9 guys, and you can play 10, maybe even 11 on a consistent basis. I think that will be beneficial for the Nuggets in the long term, where guys like Murray don't have to play 36 minutes. Guys like Joker don't have to play 40. You have to find reasons to be able to get these guys on the court. And maybe Zeke is that guy. I would love for that to be the case. Like, there are so many reasons why you want Zeke Naji to be really good for the Nuggets. And I think that there is a natural fit there between him and Saric. That would be great.
And I think Zeke works well with Murray and works well with Russell. Like, if Zeke is a floor spacer, he works great with Russell Westbrook. He's a rim runner. He can get up. Like, again, the idea of Zeke Naji, like, its body, like, it says, man, this actually could be a really good NBA player. And I think, too, his length at 6'11" could, again, no mistake, y'all.
He ain't 6'11". Ain't no way. He's
6'10". He's 6'10". Like, he's 6'10". He's listed at, I think he's listed at 6. Let me check. Let me check.
6'9".
You think he's listed at 6'9"?
I think so.
I think his draft report was 6'11". He is listed at, he's listed at 6'9". Okay. All right. So I'll say 6'9", 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", 6'8". All right.
He is built like a true power forward.
He's built like.
That's what I'll say. And like, he's been having to play center. He's been playing small ball 5 for the Nuggets, and the pick and pop role has not been good for him. Perhaps the spot up role, where he's in the corner or he's on the wing, is a little bit better, where you don't have to worry about screening and diving and reading the court and things like that. That's what Saric can do. Let's see what Zeke can do as a spot up guy.
But even, my mind, Ryan, always goes back to 2023 when it was Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, KCP, Zeke Naji, and Jeff Green, I think was like the second unit. Blacko with Zeke, and then they were destroying. Remember, they had that back-to-back possession versus the Pacers where it was 3 straight dunks. I was like, the Nuggets are winning the championship here. I can just feel it. Yeah, that's all I need. I need Russ, dunk, Zeke, dunk, Peyton, dunk, and I'll be right back on that board, and I'm going to get Ryan Blackburn back on that happy train. Ryan, any other final thoughts as we wrap up today's show?
No, I think that Michael Porter and Julian Strawther, those guys I am very excited to watch for this regular season. Just if we're going to keep the vibes good, let's focus on the guys that are playing really well and really kind of breaking out within their roles. Also, I think Peyton Watson's going to play tonight. So if that's the case, I think everybody should be excited to watch Peyton Watson play. Just like, he brings so much energy and positivity and defense to this group that like everybody should be just begging Peyton Watson to play and just provide a little bit of a spark and some of that joy.
Look, I'll just say it like this. If the Nuggets are doing it, like, I was actually fine with the first half versus the Celtics, 63-56. I could see the concept. If today they only play in the first half and they lose the game, but the first half is good, then I'm fine with that. Like, I just need to see proof of concept, and I get it. I can see what they're trying to do. But look, Peyton Watson, man, again, he has a real chance to lift this team's ceiling in a way that I think a lot of people are underestimating, but we'll find out. Y'all, that's going to do it here for Locked On Nuggets. He's Ryan. I'm Swiper. Y'all know what time it is. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Am I the one that's riding the pine and high on the Nuggets and you're feeling that wave, or are you kind of like down in the grind like Ryan Blackburn? Let us know what you think here at Locked On Nuggets.